Welcome to Built from Scratch. I'm Eric Libby, and I'm the CEO of the To-Do Dudes, home service company that connects local students to homeowners and businesses that need help with tasks. You can find us at thetodoodudes.com. We're located in Central Florida, and I've been working in the business for now almost 5 years. And I'm making this because I think it's especially relevant today, is how to get your first few customers. And we've been in business for a while, but we just underwent on April 1st, so just a few days ago, our official expansion into the Daytona Beach market. So we've been in like Palm Coast and Ormond Beach, and now we're going to Daytona Beach. And so going to the new city, we've had to explore new marketing avenues, new opportunities, different actions that we're taking. So in this episode, I'm going to share how to go about getting your first few customers. And obviously that's changed a lot since the beginning. So I'm going to run through that framework a little bit. I'm going to break this episode down into 3 parts. The first is going to be the framework of how to get new customers. The second one is going to be what we are currently doing as we go into this Daytona Beach area. And the third one is the reflection takeaway, my suggestion as to how to go about getting your first few customers. All right, so to get right into the meat of the episode, I'm going to pull a framework from Alex Hormozi. He's a business entrepreneur. He makes a lot of content, and I love his stuff. I think he has some really applicable things to say, especially for business owners that are just getting started. So he has this thing called the Core 4, which is a quadrant, and on each of the quadrants, there is a different action you're going to take to get your customers. So I'm going to break down each one of those quadrants. Okay, so you have 2 axes. You have the left side and then the top, or you could do bottom, but we'll say left side first, which on the left side is going to be your one-to-one private and then one-to-many public. So you think of that one-to-one private, one-to-one public. And on the top of the matrices, he has people who know you and people who don't know you. To start with the first one, to make it really simple, you have one-to-one private for people that know you. And what he calls that is warm outreach. And out of this whole matrices, that's probably the most important, especially when you're first starting out. Because warm outreach is people that you know, people that know you, that you might have a relationship with. And the first question that you may think is, okay, well, I want to get new customers. I don't really know anybody. How am I supposed to do that? So his suggestion when watching some of his YouTube videos and podcasts that he talks about is go to your contacts. Go to your social media, go to your email, all 3 of those. You can pull a list of maybe 100, worst case scenario, 100, maybe 500, probably over 1,000 people that you are connected with on social media, that you have their email, that you have in your contacts or something like that. And those are going to be your first warm contacts. You have their information somehow. It starts with just like a simple DM, or it starts with a simple email like, hey, checking in. It's been a little bit since we've connected. Can I tell you about something that I'm working on? Just to plant the seed and start that conversation, because at the beginning, nobody knows about you, and you have to rely on those first few people to get it at least off the ground and going. There is different ways where you could reach out, be more effective. You want to think about, you're building a relationship. So asking questions, making sure you're not just throwing up all that information right away because people aren't going to care about it, but trying to go and build a relationship and then being able to insert, hey, there is this thing I'm working on. Do you or anyone you know of could benefit from something like this? So the second one, and this is going to be on the top of the matrices, you have one-to-one to people who don't know you. One-to-one people who don't know you, and that's called cold outreach. So cold outreach, again, that could be the same mediums of all of these. It could be email. It could be your contacts in your phone. It could be social media. You're reaching out to people who have not come in contact with you. Usually it could be a little bit more strategic. So if you're like, I'm trying to get to, for us, maybe it's a broker in real estate. I want to find their email. I'm going to reach out to them, right? But it's going to be people that don't know you. So the conversion is not going to be as good, but you can still find people that don't know you and then give them information about your company. Same approach, but trying again, building that relationship. So that's the second one. You got warm outreach, cold outreach. And now, so on the bottom left of the square, you're going to have 1 to infinity to people that know you. And that's going to be called posting free content. An example of this could be posting on social media. You're talking about your info. People are following your account. It could be sending out maybe a newsletter where you're not just reaching out to one person, you're reaching out to many people all at once. Could be a blog post. You're putting out information where multiple people can come and look at your stuff. typically speaking, it's not going to be nearly as converting. You're not developing the personal one-to-one relationship, but still it's going to save you a lot of time because you could send one piece of content. It could reach 400 people, or in some cases, thousands of people. And it's like all that time you just built one, and then you get multiple people that reach out. So that's a great way. It's usually with your warm audience. That's called posting free content. And now the final one in the bottom right corner, it's going to be the one to infinity for people that don't know you. And that's going to be running paid ads. So this is going to be a way to get in front of your audience, but could be posting in the newspaper. It could be sending out a postcard. It could be running meta ads on social media, doing Google local service ads. All those ways you're going to get in front of an audience, but they're not going to know who you are. So you're going to have to spend money. This is usually one of the later ones that I would suggest. Usually you want to start with some of those other ones, especially if you're a new business owner. Like, start with what's free and then go to the paid. And once you start paying, you're going to get in front of people, but obviously that's going to cost money to be able to put in. Okay, so to move on to part 2 of this podcast is I'm going to share what we have been doing. So if we flash back to Q2 of 2024, so a year ago now, our marketing spend was between about 7,000 to 10,000. And we really were not pushing any marketing. We had a lot of referrals. It was still very new to our business. And now you flash forward to where we are today, and we have 3 to 4x our marketing spend for this quarter. We're pushing a lot more behind it. Even from last quarter to this quarter, we did a 25% increase in marketing spend. And a lot of this is just going to be experiments. So we have 10 different things that we are working on right now. And a few of them have gotten us a good amount of customers, a few of them not so much. So again, a lot of marketing is going to be just trial and error, and you got to keep learning, iterating to get a lot of those, get the customer acquisition costs down, lifetime value of the customer up as far as you can, average order value up, but I'll cover those as we continue to dive in here. So the first way that we are getting new customers is going to be word of mouth. Now this just blows everything else out of the water, and it's not even close. When you have a referral from somebody that's already used your company, that is going to be the best way to get a customer. They are already warmed up. That current customer can tell them, spread the word about it. It's going to be a lower cost. You're not spending a bunch of money on awareness. Usually that current customer can help get a new customer. And for all the other ones, I would say that this is going to be 50% of our business is getting referrals. So like a great referral program. For us, what we've done for context is if they refer a friend, the friend gets a free hour, and then the current customer gets a free hour as well. So trying to encourage that is a little bit there, but as much as we can push that, we'd rather have our current customers pushing new customers towards our business. Number 2 is local stories written about our company. Now, this is another one that's been huge recently. We were just published in the Daytona News Journal, and I didn't realize the value of this when we were first getting started. There's a couple of publications we were in and got some phone calls from that. But now, more recently, we've been pushing this a lot harder, because if you get in a local publication, you're building immediately a relationship and a correlation from your business to the publication with all the people that already trust that news source. So for us, as a Daytona Beach News Journal, those in Daytona, that's their primary news source. So when they see the To-Do Dudes are coming to Daytona April 1st, and now our company is connected, and now we've almost bridged the gap. It's like, okay, customer trusts Daytona News Journal. Now To-Do Dudes enter there, and now we come into that area. We're bridging a gap, and we already have trust even preceding ourselves before we even gotten there. So that alone got us probably over 100 phone calls of just getting in the publication. And the nice thing is, I mean, if you put like a press release together, you reach out to the right people, have the right connections there. I mean, a lot of that, like, you could run a story. I mean, it's free as long as you have the information and it's legit, and get hundreds of customers just from that alone. So that was a huge way, and we're trying to still push that as much as we can when we do have news that comes out about our company. Like, we're about to hit 5 years in business here, so that's another thing we'll be reaching out to news sources here soon. Third one is meta ads, and this is going to be really targeted at the awareness stage. So some of these people aren't ready to necessarily buy, but it is for people that don't know about you, that are on Meta. They'll go and they'll be able to see all your ads in multiple places. And one good thing about Meta right now, at least, is they have this thing called Meta Pixel. It can retarget an audience. So if they see something, they're interested in what you're doing, maybe they go to your website, they can retarget that once they come back to Facebook. And you can also, additionally build lookalike audiences. So if you know the demographics of your customer, like for us, it's going to be senior citizens, a little bit of disposable income. When we can build a lookalike audience like that, then we're just targeting all those people. So then we're attracting our target demographic, which is just so much more helpful. But you have to remember, like, that stuff at the beginning, when you're doing awareness, you're not getting that customer right away. So you have to spend a little money and then returns later on. But we are getting better. This is something we've been more recently taking on as of Q1 2025, like really pushing hard on it. So I think this quarter, we're going to learn a lot on meta ads. The fourth one is Google LSA, so local service ads, and a little different than Meta. In this case, what local service ads does is you pay per click. So instead of awareness driven, where they're just getting information when you're scrolling through social media and it comes up, this one is, I am searching for a mover. I am searching for a landscaper. I am searching for a cleaner. And then it pops up and then they have to click the ad for you to pay. So there's times where your budget, you can spend everything, or you'll not spend a lot because people aren't really searching for that type of service. So that's kind of the benefit, is it's a lot more concentrated rather than just awareness driven. So it's like people that are intending to buy, they're searching this up, they're making a little bit more of a jump towards actually trying to use a service, product, etc. The fifth one we are experimenting with, and this kind of goes with like the newspaper publications, but now we are actually paying to be in newspapers. So running ads in some of the local newspapers. This specifically for us is more important because a lot of our customer base is senior citizens. They do enjoy reading the newspaper. So putting in a local ad, and again, a test. We haven't really done this before, so it'll be a good test. We'll run it for 3 to 6 months and see what return we get, see if we get some phone calls from doing something like that. The sixth one is going to be speaking at brokerages. And this could be applicable to anything in business, whether it may be an HOA meeting, going to a board somewhere, going to some collection or a group where you can go and present your business. So for us specifically, real estate agents is a great referral source for us, because their customers, whenever they buy a home, they need to clean out, they need to move, they need to do the yard. So like we can help with all those things. So thinking about, at least how we think about it, is like we get in front of the primary people that are going to be our referral source to a wider scope. So we connect with one person who has 5 clients, then they tell all their 5 clients. So getting in front of one person rather than just like individually homeowners, it's a little bit more targeted. So going to speak at some of the brokerages has been helpful. But then again, when I'm saying this for context, think about how it's applicable to maybe your business that you're working on. Number 7 is tabling at community events. And I would say this is probably one of the most effective ways to get customers, because you're in front of, we'll just say like 200 to 1,000. There's a couple of local events where you can get 5,000, 10,000 people. Every single one of those conversations, you build rapport, you give out a flyer, maybe you take contact information from them. Those are conversations people are going to remember, rather than a social media blast where it's just like a quick snap on their phone. They're like, okay, great. Okay, cool. That's awesome. Now this time it's like, okay, I remember talking to them. They seem personable. Yeah, I love the idea. And it's like, you can go deeper in a conversation. And again, it's like that personal approach. So something that we've really tried to target is like going and tabling, getting a table. And we're going to be upgrading our setup here this quarter too. We have some money for marketing to put into a better booth, but having a booth at like a community event, huge, absolutely huge. Number 8 is going to local businesses and dropping off flyers. So if nobody knows about your stuff, again, these are all different strategies to get the word out. When you go and meet with local businesses, leave your flyer there. Their potential customers can come in and see it, and maybe their business owners that might be connected could also use that in help with their clients or help with more people they know. Typically, business owners know a good amount of folks. The 9th one we are doing is door knocking, and this is very, very new. So this is an experiment. We've done door knocking at businesses, but now like actually going to homeowners and leaving flyers. So you're gonna have kind of a mixed bag here of different approaches from the customers, different reactions, I suppose. We've already had this, people that have been very frustrated. Hey, why did you leave something on my door? That's ridiculous. We're going to call someone. And then you've also had people that are like, this is amazing. Thank you so much for leaving a flyer, and have hired us immediately after we've left it. So just kind of prepare. If you were to go door knock, you're going to get people that will grab your information, and then you'll be able to get in front of people, but you'll have two sides of it. Some people will be super pissed, and some people will be interested in actually using your service and taking the time to go do that. What we're doing is just putting the flyer in the door, not actually stopping at each individual home. So just kind of a simple way in between. Maybe we'll change our approach, but at least what we're doing right now. And then the 10th one is networking events. So going to local BNI and going to chamber events, trying to get involved as much as you can. So again, seeing your face, seeing your logo, like the more, like you have to hit some people so many times before they actually can remember who you are. And I think that's a huge misconception about marketing is like, oh, I told them about my stuff and they didn't want to buy it. It's like, okay, well, you told them one time or two times or three times. Like people need like 7 to 10 times or more, even 14 times, 20 times before they're like, okay, I'm actually going to use this service. Like to think like you're going to show an ad and they're immediately going to press book now or buy now, probably not very likely. So again, trying to hit all these, we're doing so many different angles because it's like, say they see the newspaper and then they go and they get a flyer in their door. And then after that, they see us at a networking event. It's like all these different ways where it's like kind of surrounding and then building the trust with the audience that you're trying to serve. Okay. So part 3, and this is a short part, but what we're learning, and I shared kind of some of the takeaways during the 10 different strategies that we have. But I think honestly, the biggest learning that I'm having right now is just the value of in-person marketing. So social is great, and we're definitely getting a return there, which otherwise we wouldn't be doing it. We wouldn't be spending money on it. But when we go to events, when we go to networking, when we go to speak at brokerages, talking to homeowners, like that's the time that we're going to build so much a better personal relationship. And even an example happened last week. I was stopping in at local brokerages, leaving a flyer. Hey, do you ever have sales presentations here? Can we come in and buy a breakfast for you guys? And they're like, yeah, we have events every once in a while. And I was like, I've tried to reach out before by phone, and they said we wouldn't ever do that if somebody just called us by phone. Like the only times we ever schedule something if they make the effort to come in and see us. So even a testament right there is like when you go to businesses and like actually stop and have time and build a relationship, like you're going to build the rapport to then open up other doors. So that's all great on social because people use it. You'll get in front of people. It drives awareness, but biggest learning is like going in person. So to be honest, by the end of this quarter, we are going to have a ton of lessons. I walked through 10. There's maybe 13 of like, those are the other 3 are maybe like smaller opportunities, but we increased our ad spend, our marketing spend by 25% this quarter. So there's going to be a significant jump in resources invested. And with that, there'll be a lot more learnings, probably a ton of mistakes we're making as well, but something I'll come back to and share once we get through quarter 2 here. So to take this podcast down and consolidate it into a bite-sized reflection, you can honestly advertise your business in 100 different ways. I just shared 10, but 100 different ways that you could go about it. So going into Daytona this past week, we've already completed 21 jobs and are looking forward to continuing this trend. But as I would say is just the most important that we've learned is just the value of in-person. Like hit on in-person, go meet with people, go speak to people, because really ultimately at the end of the day, they don't know about your stuff. As much as you think they do, they don't. When you're a small company, you may be thinking about it all the time and like, wow, like I'm telling all these people, but they don't seem to call. It's like, they just don't think about all the things we have on our daily basis. Like there's just no way that people are going to actually take the time and think about it. You gotta say 7, 10, 15, 20 times before they actually even pay attention and consider it. So I just encourage you, keep marketing, like keep getting out there, keep meeting with people as much as you can. Like those are the things that are actually going to get you business. So if you enjoyed, you can take 5 seconds to rate the episode. That would be huge. And until next time, keep crushing it.